Hey everyone, in this video, we're going to look at the Clippers' comeback in the final 2 minutes in Tuesday's win. Like with most comebacks, this comeback doesn't start with some amazing play or just some amazing shot. It just starts with smarts and good work and hard work. Here, Reggie Jackson looks like he's come up to set the screen. George is going to read that and actually just attack early. As he gets downhill, he's already beat his defender, and he's going to end up stopping and slowing down his drive to the rim and drawing the foul to go to the line for 2 shots. Like with most comebacks too, you also need to have a little bit of luck. You have to get a little bit fortunate in this. George is going to go underneath this screen. They're going to re-screen the other side. As the other screen happens, we're going to notice George fight to get over the top of this really well. And Zubac is going to be showing high to deter McCollum on a pull-up jumper above the arc. This is going to force the ball to Little. Little could take this 3, but he's not much of a shooter. He knows that. He kicks it to Carmelo. Carmelo's going to pull up into this mid-range jumper. This is open. It's not contested. Clippers get a little bit shot lucky here that he ends up missing the shot. This is just smart, well-worked basketball by the Los Angeles Clippers and by Paul George specifically. Screen being set by Morris. This forces a switch. The second screen will be set by Zubac. This is going to force Portland into blitzing and trying to trap George. George reads this. Morris is the key here. He's got to show up a little bit higher up the floor, and he does to make himself available. The second he catches, George is going to back cut the defender into the open space. As George catches, this means Carmelo's the low man to defend this, but it also means Zubac is the dump-off option when Carmelo steps up. Carmelo steps up. It presents Zubac with the ability to get the ball from George, and he goes up and lays it in. This is what happens when you don't play the pick and roll properly. The Clippers, the time before that we watched, came up and they actually defended it. This time they're going to go into drop coverage. McCollum goes behind his back here, which presents a problem because as Batum gets met by the screen, we're going to end up noticing that Zubac is too far low in drop coverage. He needs to be higher up the floor like the last time we saw. McCollum recognizes this, comes off and fires. He drills the 3. The Clippers have to do better. All right, the Clippers are down 5, 60 seconds to go. Morris is going to set the screen, and George is actually going to split this this little double, or what could be a double, into the open space here. By splitting this, it allows him to get downhill. McCollum is the defender who should come up to meet him, but he's late and veers back. Zubac does a nice little seal here that allows George to get downhill a little bit more to the restricted area. It's a very nice layup, and George cuts the deficit to 3. Good defense can lead to easy offense, or at least easier offense, especially in late game situations. When you don't take a timeout, it allows you to attack a defense that is not set with the wrong personnel on the floor. Batum gets hit with the screen here, but we're going to notice Zubac. He's higher up the floor here than he was the previous time, and by being further up the floor, he's able to meet McCollum. He defends and contests this very well, and McCollum misses. As Morris rebounds and pushes to George, George is pushing the ball up the floor against an unset defense. This is exactly what you want to do in late game situations. George drives. There is contact here. It's a good no call. George steps through. He has a very nice layup finish, and all of a sudden, the Clippers are only down by 1 with a half minute to go. Luck did play a factor, but so did skill for the Clippers. George skillfully gets through this screen and is going to be able to meet Carmelo at the point of entry on the entry pass. Now, the ball is going to go to McCollum. The ball should go to McCollum. He was great. He's their best player on the floor for Portland at this time with Lillard not playing, so it makes sense that he would be the guy. The Clippers know he's the guy, so they're going to send Paul George over to trap and get the ball out of his hands, which means Reggie Jackson's the key defender here. He's locked at the elbow. We're going to see him turn when George moves. He's going to be able to have to defend 2-on-1, but McCollum gets to the middle of the floor and poses a problem for the Clippers. Back screen on the baseline set by Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. It leads to Powell being wide open. And this is what I mean with shot luck. You have to get lucky. Powell misses the shot. Clippers get the rebound. And instead of calling a timeout, which they have 2 timeouts here as we see, the Clippers are going to push the ball up the floor. They're not going to waste time. They're going to go right into their offense. They want this last shot without an unset defense. Jackson's going to screen. This forces the switch. Gets a worse defender onto George. George goes to drive. If you're even, you're leaving. George gets downhill against McCollum. McCollum swipes, which is where the foul ends up getting called initially. And George is passing here. However, the Clippers are in the bonus, which means George is going to the line for 2 shots and the lead. All right, here we go. Final defensive possession for the Clippers. Back screen set by Cantor against George to free up McCollum. George rolls off and deters McCollum on an open catch and shoot. You want to push him inside the arc. McCollum's going to drive and go into a shot fake. We see Batum here in rear view position. He's kind of just sizing this up. George flies by. McCollum does not jump into him for the foul. As McCollum goes up, Batum with a nice rear view contest. McCollum misses. Clippers win. They were down 6 with 2 minutes to go. They're down 5 with a minute to go. 113-112 victory without Kawhi and Beverly and Ibaka. Incredible job and effort by Paul George here. He scores and assists the last 10 points for the Clippers in this huge, huge road win.